So what is new this week?
Blew the compressor up, man.
Hey, cars!
Junk.
You said it was an old used compressor?
Well, I mean, it wasn't used when I got it. I got it brand new, but it was a while
Oh,
ago. I was telling somebody in front of the wife that it's like more than 20 years old, 20 years old. She's like, I got it for you, and we've been together 15. I'm like, ooh, yeah. Better get my story straight.
you're
So yeah, I
saying
was about 15 years old, I bet, somewhere in there. But I can definitely tell just getting a new compressor. I know it has more CFM, but just the actual runtime, like it was running way too long. That's why I kept burning out electric motors. It was like that we're on the third electric motor. So I was like, do I put an electric motor on it again, or do I just get a new compressor? And I think getting the new compressor is definitely the answer. Like it's a lot faster.
yeah, probably overdoing the duty cycle on the electric motor so they couldn't cool down.
Yeah, definitely. It's when we went back there after we noticed that we had no air, smelled like a burnt electric motor. It's pretty awesome.
Gotta love that.
Yeah. And the pump turns like free pretty easily. So I'm pretty sure it's just straight worn out, but it's definitely not worth fixing.
Oh, you
Not
could
for what you can get a compressor for.
probably put that
They
thing
had
on
one in town.
marketplace.
Yeah, I thought about putting it up on Marketplace, but it could also, not that I want to keep a inefficient air compressor, but I used to have it in my garage at home, and I could just put an electric motor on it and just run it for at home. It's not like I'm going to be doing like painting cars at home or anything. So,
Right.
um, yeah, I think I could use it at home, but not like I really need it either. I mean, it's just a big, noisy corner taker, you know.
Never seems to be
Mm.
enough space in the garage.
We got a new one. The old one was like 14 CFM at 90 psi, and this one's almost 18 CFM at 170 psi.
And the
So
important thing is
it's
it's yellow, so it really shows the quality.
oh yeah, well, it was the only thing that was there was like almost the exact same pump, just like a little bit different configuration of the gauges on it at a different place that was a little bit cheaper, but we would have had to wait until Saturday, and then we would have been out of air. So I was like a couple $100 more, $300 more, and I can have it the next day and actually still make money. So that's the
Yeah.
route we went.
Yeah, I'm sure you can make more than $300 in a few days.
Yeah, that's the idea anyway, right?
uh,
Yeah, and then we picked up me and my buddy Travis from Draxler Service picked up the this Mustang here. It's definitely down the line work, but we're excuse me, we're getting just getting our ducks in a row and trying to be as prepared as we possibly can. And it was just taking up garage space as far as he was until we could get to it. So it was kind of you get it here and get a game plan for springtime when we can actually start working it into the schedule. So that's kind of what we're doing. But it's pretty cool. It's not going like really resto modi too far. It's going to be just a kind of a hardcore Mustang. I think he's doing like some sort of a four link in the back and upgraded front suspension and then like a hot small block. He doesn't want like a big block or any sort of modular motor or anything like that. He just wants some like a high displacement small block or something like that.
nice.
Something kind of quirky and high revving is what he wants, I guess. So we'll see.
Nice. My friend had a Fox body with a 454 small block Ford in it. That was
Oh
that
wow,
I used to go to the track with him a little bit, and the thing would just do
sure.
wheel stands on naturally
Jesus,
aspirated carbureted motor.
yikes. That'd be fun. That'd be super fun.
It was like low
But these cars are
down.
so light. Oh wow. Yeah, these Mustangs are so light. I mean, as long as you do like the minimal stuff to them, like there's no weight to these cars. They're so light. So
Right.
like 4 or 500 horse is going to go a long way in something like that.
I think 4 or 500 horsepower naturally aspirated goes a long way in just about everything.
I don't know. I mean, our Bronco has close to that, and it's not that impressive. I mean, it gets out of its own way, but Yeah. I guess I should say maybe it's more. Is it closer to 300 horse? And it's like 400 foot-pounds of torque, but I don't think it's three. I don't think it's 400 horse. Yeah.
That's wild. Could be a gearing thing too.
It's got 10 of them.
That just seems like a lot of opportunity for problems.
I don't know. I talked to transmission guys, and they're like talking about these kinds of transmissions. They're like, we'll never have to be inside of them. Basically saying that they're pretty well built.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of dumbfounded by that too. It's like it seems like a lot more parts to go wrong. He's like, they're just built too good. Okay,
Sounds quite suspect to me.
it sounds like it's a challenge accepted.
So, after all that talk about how you don't like hauling vehicles around, you're picking up vehicles for customers?
Me, I didn't pick it up. Travis did. I just rode with him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not my rig.
That's good.
Yeah, he got paid to move it. Like it's they do hauling too, so they do towing, hauling,
Oh, okay.
restoration, all kinds of stuff. So
That's cool.
out of body mechanics, they gas station, they got all kinds of stuff there.
Sounds like the setup.
It's quite the setup, yeah. A lot going on.
I have
Yeah.
been
So what's going
geeking
on with
out.
you, man?
I've been geeking out all week, and I've been holding out telling you about it. I have a new obsession. I found out that Toyota made a production V12 for like 20 years, and it's I found out I can get one for a couple grand,
What?
and I found out it bolts to my Tundra transmission.
No way. You're doing it? I think you have to now.
So
Oh, you
I
fucked up. You should have just went that route right away.
uh it's going to be expensive by the time I do all the engine management and everything, but so I was watching a video, and it was this guy in his Toyota Century, which is like Toyota's, you know, premium luxury car. They're coach built. There's like a
Sure.
special factory for them. Everything's hand done, hand wet sanded.
Wow.
All the like seams are brazed by hand and then metal shaped out. I mean, it's a super. They've got specs on how thick the paint can be, how many layers of paint can be.
Sure.
They're super specced out, top of the line. You know, they're like their presidential car for Japan, and they put a V12 in them from 1997 or 1998 through 2017 or 2016. Um, but
In America though? Is that an American car? Not
no,
America.
Japan only.
Sure.
It's the only production V12 Japan ever had, and apparently
Wow.
it's quite similar because it's the same years as the V8 that they put in my Tundra. They put in, you know, the American luxury cars like the LS400. It's all kind of super similar engineering. Um, forged crankshaft, forged connecting rods, same reliability, if not better, because they're made in like a, you know, like a coach built scenario where there's the same guys. This is what they do. Um,
Yeah,
every
sure.
everything is super documented in that facility and everything like that. Um, I saw this video. This guy was he bought a Century in Japan, some YouTuber, paid some shop to put like an $18,000 stainless exhaust setup on it, like a super tuned exhaust, so it sounds like an F1
Mm-hmm.
car. And he's driving on this huge, like saloon sedan, you know, just a huge luxury sedan. And he's like pulling up to supercar meets, and they're revving their McLarens and stuff.
I've seen that video.
Yeah,
Yeah. Wow. So that's what was in that car. Interesting.
it's a V12. It's stock 5 liter V12 quad cam, 48 valves.
What's like a stock spec horsepower on something like that, like 300 horse, something like that?
So in the 90s, Japan had an agreement across all manufacturers that they wouldn't go above a certain like 280 horsepower. So like all the turbo cars and
Sure.
everything is like supposedly under 280 horsepower. So their spec horsepower is 276, and then they're 400 something foot-pounds of torque. Um, but I guess they were never 276. They were like 300 something.
Sure.
But if a guy was to get that, throw some nice headers on it, change the intake manifold up, because it's since it's for a luxury car, everything is made to be as quiet as possible. So
Sure.
just log style manifolds on it. The intake is quite elaborate setup that is made for smooth, long torque from the low end. And then obviously they have all emissions, everything, big air conditioners, all that stuff. So
And like, what do you use for managing that? How do you how do you use engine management? What do you do? What do you use for that? Fuck.
so from the factory, this is what it gets wild. It had two ECUs, one for each bank.
Christ.
And I guess even back then they had it set up so it would shut six cylinders off when you got to like cruising speed and stuff like that. So like the GM
What was
flex.
it? 7 you said? Wow.
Yeah. So
They're ahead of
yeah, so stock it has two ECUs. All the engines I'm looking at imported come with the ECUs, the wiring harness. Most of them have a
sure.
transmission, but that's two-wheel drive. Um, and it's not really a truck transmission, so you wouldn't want to throw it in something you're gonna thrash off
Yeah.
road or tow with. Um,
Did they come in anything other than like a rear wheel drive setup?
just rear-wheel drive Toyota Sentry.
Sure.
Um,
Interesting.
they didn't build it for like an exotic or a sports car. They like literally they were like,
Yeah. It's just curious that they would have that size of an engine and not use it for something else.
yeah, it's interesting, but a lot of the Japanese stuff, the manufacturers, they'll do these like kind of bespoke things with
Sure.
one purpose only. And so, from the factory, like I said, it's not really a sports car motor. Obviously, it's 5 liter. They only rev like 6,000 horsepower, or 6,000 RPMs, which is like a fair amount of RPMs, but
For the sounds coming out of it, fuck yeah.
well, you got to think how many exhaust pulses there are per revolution.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the frequency goes way up, and then you get an exhaust that's the right size and it's stainless and it's tingy or titanium, and you get it with the right crossovers and everything like that. They can rip pretty good. I know
It's
because
nuts.
the way I was thinking about it is I wanted to turbo my V8, okay, to get some more power out of it.
Sure.
But as I've already found out when I blew my V8, the connecting rods are very lean on those. So on my Toyota V8. So I would have to do connecting rods in mine to make more power. Okay. And then I wanted to get an exhaust or build an exhaust that was tuned to raise the frequency of the sound coming out, which I would have done. I'd have had baffles, and then there's these chambers that you have come off. They call it like a J pipe. It comes off to the side to reflect the sound back and introduce
Oh
more
my god,
pulses into the
dude.
exhaust. So I was gonna do all that to get this V10, V12 sound out of my V8 because
Sure.
I wanted my Tundra to sound like a exotic car, just because it'd be weird. And I'm like, okay, so I already have to tear the motor apart and put connecting rods in it. I would already planned on putting, $1,000 into an exhaust that I was still gonna have to engineer and build. That pretty much pays for a V12.
So how much do you think it would cost to create it and have it brought over here? $1,000, like $2,000 probably.
There's one right now online for $1,500 on sale from a JDM importer, and they'll ship to my door for $400. So $1,900.
I don't know why you haven't pulled the trigger yet.
Because I just rebuilt an engine in my truck and all this other stuff. So
It's the whole time you're talking about your exhaust, I'm thinking to myself, dude, you blew your engine up and then and then decided that's the determining factor to do in the truck. And now you're like, ace that shit. I need to ace that shit now too.
yeah. So
It's so good.
I knew that there was a V12. It was in the back of my head a long time ago. I'd seen that those Centuries had a V12, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool," because I knew that Toyota had a big luxury sedan with a V12, but it didn't register much because they weren't in America and whatever. And I just
Good idea. You should probably buy two of those. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
I get what you're after. And then I was like, I saw that and it rekindled like, oh crap. And then I looked and they're actually available. An expensive one in America is about 4 grand, but there are you can get them in America for 2 grand. So they're
But you
everywhere
probably
for
don't have
four
it.
thousand dollars. You can get them for $2,000. One place has them on sale for $1,500, or
You
has a
got
bunch.
like internal parts for him. Can you buy shit for him though? Sounds scary.
most of the
Yeah,
imported ones have 50,000 miles on them, so they're pretty mild.
sure.
Um,
I would suspect that they're probably like not probably pretty mild engine in general.
right. Yeah,
You know,
the reason the luxury cars like the Rolls and the Bentleys they all run a V10, V12 is because they have like smooth power all the way through because you
right?
have so many pistons running. You don't have a vibrating engine because of the frequency of the firing.
You
Um, but also 5 liters and 12 cylinders sounds pretty cool to have in a truck.
Yeah, there's a Lincoln Zephyr for sale at Draxler's that I when I worked there I had. It was all kind of, I think majority of it was original paint, so we buffed it all out and stuff. But they totally rebuilt the V12, and the advertisement for that was like lighting a cigarette and then setting it on the engine, and it would not. It would just sit there and like they wouldn't fall off. And yeah, it ran that smooth. They're like ultra smooth.
What
Like
year
you
was
wouldn't
that
believe
back?
it. Like it was like the last one. Some people don't consider it I think it's a 41 or 42. Or is it 46? It's like the really, really goofy looking one. It's almost got like a sideways grill. It's not the super desirable version, and it's a 4 door. It's got a running drivetrain, V12 drivetrain, which is definitely worth. If somebody had a Zephyr that didn't have that, it's worth the money that they're asking for it. I think they're asking like 30 something for it.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got like it's got some really crazy features like overdrive on a button on the dash. I think something like that. Some crazy shit.
Yeah, so I found out I did a little research, saw that I could buy these in the US already imported, and I walked up to the wife and I was like, "Oh, by the
Oh
way,
no.
I got to save a couple grand." And she's like, "Oh, for the kids' truck project?" And I went, "No, I just found out Toyota has a V12 that'll bolt to my truck transmission." And she was like, "That tracks."
That's fucking good. Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
Oh shit, that's pretty good. Did you follow anything, any SEMA stuff at all this last week?
I've been looking at it here and there. Haven't been consuming too much of the internet this week, but definitely for the 5 minutes I'll flip on Instagram or something like that. I have definitely been seeing some sweet projects.
Yeah, definitely. There's some of the stuff is pretty crazy there. That Vinny's Hot Rods, I think it was a 70 Mustang on air ride. Oh man, that thing was really, 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 really nice. Like it wins. It wins for me.
That's sweet.
It just
I
fucking slammed.
sometimes I forget that SEMA's like also for just regular parts manufacturers. So I'll
Yeah,
see like
right.
these really mild things with bolt-ons. I'm like,
Hmm.
really? That's at SEMA? But then, that's the whole point really of SEMA is
Hmm.
that you just happen to
Well,
also get extravagant stuff.
right. I mean, the Precision in Wausau had a booth there, and they just had like this 70s truck that had all original paint on it, but I think it was just to highlight their product on it, obviously. So,
Yep.
but yeah, I want to talk to you about those guys. I'm going to get your connection with that guy for maybe something
Okay.
future, maybe.
I when they had my car at their facility, I knew that they kind of showed me there was two SEMA builds that they were working with back, what I mean, this was years ago, but I know they go to SEMA every year.
Yeah, they're everywhere. I didn't realize when as soon as I started following them on social media, they're like everywhere. They got booths set up everywhere. I don't know if it's the same person or not, but they yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody's based out
Yeah,
of somewhere. It's just kind of strange when they're like right down the road.
right. Super strange. Yeah, definitely. Especially when they're made like almost all the aftermarket rubber made for old cars is made like right down the road. It's pretty crazy. But seen that Tremec came out with a 6 speed for C8 Corvettes.
Really?
Looked at that's pretty rad.
Oh yeah, I did see that too. Yeah, I think you sent it to me actually.
Yeah, it's looked at. I mean, that's pretty crazy. I think that's pretty cool. Can't wait to see people cutting them things up. I'd love to do it, but I think if I bought one, I'd be like, I don't know, like just doing this and shifting and being faster. Somebody made a comment on like 40 grand and you still have to install it and it's slower. It's like, yeah, you're not wrong, but it would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, but if it's a driving experience thing that you want,
Oh, for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep.
and there's
Yeah, I
the
mean, I
negative
could,
of just doing the swap and having something different.
yeah, can you imagine something that has never had a manual transmission, adapting it to it? It's not going to be like a cheap, easy thing. 40 grand for the transmission and then adapting everything. Just trying to get linkage up to the front, you're going to have 10 grand in just trying to do that.
Yeah, so they're not selling anything but the transmission. There's not like a pedal kit and all that.
Didn't see that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You'd almost have to have at least a company you're working with building all the rest of the stuff.
Yeah, I guess however they would work like a remote shifting mechanism, that would be the easiest. So somehow they could do that.
Oh yeah, maybe there is like some sort of electric shifter, shift linkage,
I have no idea.
shift by
Everything else is
wire.
drive by. Everything else is by wire, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I seen a video of a C8. It was like at what is that racetrack in California, Laguna or something like
Laguna
that.
Seca.
Laguna Seca, coming around a corner and it like lost. I don't know if it's these those C8s are drive by brake or drive by wire in the brakes, but that's kind of what it claimed. And the brakes went out, and it just like instead of turning the corner, it kind of just hit the wall. And that's what the video claimed, is that the brakes just completely failed, didn't even turn on. Like, that's pretty scary, but also it's a C8 on a racetrack. I mean, who knows what is factory on it, what's not.
There's a few things that I want a mechanical connection on. Steering, I want a linkage.
Sure.
And
Yes,
brakes, I
sir.
want hydraulic. I want you still to be able to push the brakes, even if the battery dies or something.
Well, you think it'd almost be, especially on a race car, like a pedal thing, like you want to be able to feel it a little bit. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe that's just me, but
Feedback is nice.
I'm not a race car driver. No race car driver.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild. I don't know. Even when they started doing like all the electric steering stuff, I started getting nervous.
Yeah. Yeah, this the 66 over here has got electric assist steering. It's got a big electric motor on the steering column underneath the dash, and it's makes it really tough to work on, makes it really tough to install. There's just to get parts installed around it, it takes up a lot of room. So
Hmm.
it's been a challenge even till now. Just installing it by yourself is like a fucking nightmare, kind of.
Hmm.
Just heavy and awkward,
Yeah, I suppose.
like super heavy on the one side.
I have seen a lot of people switching to they get the Tesla brake booster, then it's all electric brake boosting, and I guess that's pretty sweet. 'Cause I think it's pretty
So
small.
what is it? Is it just like a hydro boost, electric hydro boost thing?
Basically, but
Yeah,
it's
that
just a modernized
that's what
version.
this thing too. That has that as well.
That's pretty cool.
It's got like, I think after you lose power, you still have, what did I read, like 90 pumps in the pedal or something like that. Like it was a lot of pressure it built. Like, yeah,
That's
it's,
pretty cool.
I'm sure it's less than that in real life, but it's hard to say.
Who makes
Not
the
like I'm
one
gonna,
that's on the 66?
I don't even remember, to be honest.
Oh, you failed for
Yeah,
Tesla.
great. Fail. It's hard to keep all those like product companies in your brain.
Yeah,
Like
what are
it's
you
not
managing? A
something,
couple builds over there?
yeah, just a couple. Yeah, we definitely have enough in the door right now to do lots.
Good
So
problem to have.
yeah, it's hard to complain uh when the whole goal is to that, when you have a full plate, when the goal is to eat, isn't that the saying?
Yeah, eating's good.
Something like that. Something like that. Yeah, yeah. So new compressor going, got a couple days on it now. I ran out of argon then after I got one of the scoops welded in the Mustang. I ran out of argon on Thursday afternoon, so switched to doing some other stuff Friday morning, and then we had to get the car Friday middle of the day. The 67 here. So
Nice.
yeah,
You just working the 66 this week?
Yeah, try and fit in as much as I could, with everything going on, as the compressor thing, and yeah, it was a lot. Anyway, yeah, I got a lot of the scoop stuff done. I got the quarter panel drop off on the driver's side ready to weld on. I was going to start tacking it together, swap the tank over, and it was like, oh yeah, this one's empty too. Like shit. Make sure to label your empty tanks of argon,
I,
because I didn't. When I lifted the tank on, I'm like, oh no, like I
oh
hope I just
no.
exactly. Yeah. So whatever. They're coming Wednesday, so I have enough stuff to do. I just have to shift gears and started working on the um, actually started metal finishing out the hood, because it was never. I got the welds kind of finished out a little bit and stretched back out, but never really actually finished. So now I got the hood, like all the high spots shrunk down, and that's actually looking like there'll be very, very minimal mud in it, which is kind of the goal. So um, then I got the rear valance as well, because so the quarter panels in the back drop down on the 66 to match the rockers that we extended down. And then so when you look at it from the back of the car, then it almost looks like this big weird wedgy thing, because it's the quarter panels coming up. So extended down the corners of the rear valance to kind of start this swooping fashion that's going to kind of come around to the quarter panel. So from the back, it's going to look really aesthetically pleasing. The whole idea is like from any angle, you're not seeing a bad line on the car. So like that's why at night when you're walking around the car, I'm trying to visualize a bad angle, and if I can find one, that's usually the problem. Not that we're trying to like spend all the time changing everything about the car, but if we're going to be doing something and fabricating something, I'd rather it be like make sense and flow and have a purpose, you know.
Refined.
You understand. Hmm. But it was just making like a simple little curve, but sometimes it's standing back and doing a couple tape lines, getting the right curve down, you know. Yeah, yeah.
I
It's
didn't
all ready to
realize
weld on.
I didn't realize until you sent until I think maybe I was watching your video on the car that those scoops actually go straight into the wheel well on that.
Yeah.
I thought they were like a
Yep.
regular 66 and just went just like a dent in the side of the quarter panel.
Oh, yeah. No, there's an inner and an outer, and it was actually pretty tricky welding that in, because I didn't want that, because that outside lip where it gets welded to the outside of the quarter panel, um, you can't really get in there to finish it out with any sort, like with anything, you know. So you don't really want it to shrink up too much and warp too much when you're welding it in. So I made a piece of flat bar steel that kind of followed that curvature and retained the. It really worked really well. It almost it wasn't right up against the backside of the weld, so it didn't heat soak the weld too bad, but it did take the heat away from right next to the weld, so it wouldn't
Gotcha.
really warp or anything. It never really got really wavy or anything. So it helps that the scoops were made out of 18 gauge, so they're really, in comparison to the quarter panel, very thick. So it helped keep everything a little more sturdy. But yeah, I think it turned out really awesome. But it's welded on the inside of the wheel opening too. I do want to do some sort of vent or something, so potentially rocks or something wouldn't come back through. And I don't necessarily know that seeing the tire through that is aesthetically pleasing. So I have an idea for some vents that I kind of came up with. I kind of had a vision on Friday, um, that it'd be nice. It'd be cool to have like almost like louvered vents that come like straight down like this. So when you're looking in, they're like this kind of almost. I don't know if that makes sense, but I have an idea.
Like
So
an angled Testarossa.
kind of, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like yeah, you're right, right. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I gotta, get the car welded together first before we start thinking about that kind of shit. But
Is there
it can't
clearance
be.
for when
What's
you
up?
get? Is there clearance so that when like you go in the scoop, in the wheel arch, it hooks off to the side a little bit, so it diverts the air to the side, and then there's no straight through path for rocks to come off the tire in, and you're not seeing the tire. Like it just
No,
kicks it a little bit.
it's straight through. So the whole idea was to keep that, the panel that continues in the middle of the door. that I replaced that goes all the way through, like that plane is like that'll be body worked like it's one straight plane that'll go all the way through to the scoop.
Right.
So it doesn't really it just like the it's almost like the continuation of from the front of the front wheel opening, like the inside of those two body lines. It's just a continuation of that going through that side scoop. So it's once it's all body worked in, it'll look really fucking cool. Like, and the scoop almost looks double as thick because of the reflection of the panel behind it.
Oh
So
yeah.
it almost it gives it a weird like it almost from the side looks factory because the line is just the same. But then once you start turning and you're seeing the depth change, it's really really cool.
Yeah, from the
I
side, I
haven't.
didn't even realize that it was vented at first. I just thought, that was the
Well,
natural thing.
they wanted those scoops like the side scoops, the Shelby style that kind of stick out and they look like to me they just once they start putting all these scoops on the side of the car that stick out, it looks like really I don't know. It looks
Airplane.
yeah, it just looks yeah, fighter jet. I don't know. It's just not my thing. So I kind of had an idea to make the scoop go all the way through because it just utilizes the what's already there for lines and stuff, you know.
Right.
Um, to me, it's like kind of the factory, like a factory. It looks factory-ish, but it's very much like a GT40. Like even the latest GT40. Each year was different, but like the 2018, 17, 18. Those things are
So
pretty crazy.
if you did put, some sort of louver or grate in there like that, how would it just be at the very back?
Yeah, I think so. At the like basically in the wheel opening into the scoop. I think.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess
I don't know if it'd be.
I'd be worried about
Go ahead.
like dirt and stuff getting trapped in there too. 'Cause I imagine that'd be a real bear to wash out.
Exactly. I mean, even after I fabricated them and getting them welded in, I'm like, ooh, even getting paint in here is gonna suck.
Yeah, getting paint in there is going to be difficult.
Actually, once you get in the wheel opening, like I should do a little video from the inside of the wheel opening because once you look through from the wheel opening, it looks super deep from the outside of the car. But from the wheel opening, you'll be able to shoot in paint, primer and paint pretty easily. It's not too bad.
Just put it on bullet, just jet it in
You're gonna have to.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, for sure.
Huh.
Should be a good time. Solid color. We're not going metallic.
That's a big savior.
Yeah, right.
I don't think there's enough solid colors out there. I think there's something to a solid color, and it seems like everybody's so worried about complicating their paint that
Yeah,
they
I
miss
mean,
out on it.
I think there's some factory flaky colors, like that Gran Torino we did. That thing was the factory color in that thing was beautiful. It was really fucking cool. I don't think I've ever seen a color. Nobody really redoes like metallic greens and stuff like that. But I don't know. I do like solid colors myself. That's just my gig, but I can appreciate all kinds. Some of them they just suck worse.
Yeah, I'm like a wild big flake guy, so for I'm not saying that solid colors are the answer, but I think they have their place. That there's a good impact for it. My truck is solid black, solid white, solid red, and then the orange and the yellow are pearl, but just to make those
Really like I really like mixing like heavy metallic colors with satin clears, stuff like that. That stuff is really fun. Like if we could do like a dark solid green color on the 66 and then have some of the underhood color be like a darker medium gray metallic, heavy metallic with some satin clear on it would be like 'cause we're trying to retain some of the like factory casting. Like we're not going to be painting everything under the hood, the Pro Charger, the engine block, everything is kind of that like, raw metal look. So we're trying not to go too nuts as far as like having everything painted. So
right.
matching some of that would be kind of cool to some extent. Hmm,
I think
we'll
sometimes a
see.
raw aluminum's a good look.
To me, it's almost like things are too pretty to even put your hands on and work on. So to me, this car, I mean, not like anybody's going to be getting their hands on and working on it like like old cars or whatever. Um, but it has to be serviceable, workable, and not everything under the hood needs to be that ultra beautiful for every customer. Not everybody's looking for that.
I think that Cerakote's a pretty good option for a lot of like engine bay parts that you want to change color on, but have them still be tough and heat capable.
Is that stuff really heat? I've never used it before ever. Is that like got a lot of heat
Yeah,
resistance?
people paint like I think you can even Cerakote like manifolds and headers and stuff. So I don't know if they have certain ones.
What kind of a finish? So you can spray it over any finish, really?
I think it has to be direct to metal. So it's like powder coat,
Oh,
but it's a liquid, and then you bake it on.
oh, you have to bake it yet too?
Yeah, like bake it like
So
powder
it's
coat.
just, okay, okay, okay. Well, that seems like a lot of fucking around.
I think it
You
like
just
I've seen it done cool on like they'll do like the turbo housings and things like that. Certain accent parts that you want to highlight in an engine bay, so you have like your regular painted
you
engine and all that.
can definitely see the aesthetic to it. It's just, man, that's just another layer of tools, and I need an oven then and shit.
I'd
Seems
say
like a lot of
sub it
fucking.
out.
Yeah, that's where but that's an unfortunate thing about where I am, central Wisconsin. There's not a lot of places like that to sub stuff out to, and even if there are, it's almost really hard to find somebody that's actually good at it. You know, like there's people that do powder coating, but is it good? I don't know. I haven't seen too many that were like really awesome looking.
There are other places to build cars than central
Yeah, I know.
Wisconsin, though.
High pressure sales.
I kid. I'm in like I said, I'm in the Marshfield, Wisconsin of Florida, right? So I think I have more. I've got like 3 times more YouTube subscribers than people in my town.
It's fucking funny. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I don't know. I don't living in a small town isn't a bad thing. It's just about having as a business having the right resources in front of us, because I can't do everything and I don't want to do everything. I don't want to be the guy that had like, I'm not bragging about doing turnkey hot rods. That's not a thing that I would pride myself on. I don't have the bandwidth to do all of it, you know.
Right, right.
So
I suffer from wanting to be start to finish on everything, but I like all the different stuff. I'd be happy to spend a couple weeks wiring a car and doing all that.
to me, if I start struggling and I know I could be making money doing what I know how to do, I mean, it's not necessarily like I'm just trying to um, not learn. Like I'd love to learn new things, but it's almost you have to manage your business at the same time. And so there's a status quo you have to ride to a certain extent. And the longer I've been in business, the more I know staying in your lane, you can make a lot more money in your lane than you can uh, struggling in somebody else's.
Right, and there's definitely something to sticking to one craft and honing it versus just spreading yourself too thin.
Yeah, I mean, I, you can't be ignorant to the other aesthetics of the job though, too. That's the hard part. you know that's why, if me having the background of doing collision as well, and having your hands taking apart cars like all the way and putting them back together, and it's really not that big of a deal because there's a game plan in a computer somewhere if you need it.
Yep.
um, so it's almost not, it's like how things should go in and come out. So for me, I like, uh personally, my angle is like I'd like to get on that Mustang, get all of the electronics, basically anything that needs to be bolted in, the functioning things functioning, as far as like, I don't know, like electric windows and stuff, like get the motors and everything installed, and then just have somebody come in, wire it, or take it somewhere, have somebody wire it, plumb it, stuff like that. Just so it's, the things are there. There's less questioning from a mechanic's perspective. Just make it function now.
Yeah, a lot of shops do that, it seems. And like there's guys that are just dedicated wiring and they just take care of that for multiple places. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the hard part is finding all of those different people to
Yeah.
do all the different things that you can actually trust.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's definitely people around that can do it, but trusting somebody and then making sure that they're going to be around in a couple of years when the car, because not this, especially this higher end restaurant mod stuff doesn't take it. Nothing happens overnight. Even at a high end shop, nothing happens overnight. At least they pretend. Sometimes it does for SEMA stuff like that, but usually it's coming back and getting finished up at the shop anyways to a certain extent. Um, but yeah, it's just really invested. So you got to make sure they're going to be around for the long haul with the build as well. So if there's, once it's all painted, that you have a few questions on the car as far as if you're troubleshooting stuff, where to go. So you're not taking the whole car back apart. I don't know. There's always hypotheticals that should be keeping slightly in the back of your mind.
Yeah, we were talking about the engine management for the V12. Um,
Yeah,
my buddy that I did the GTR engine bay for up in Tennessee, he does Haltech installs all the time. He just finished up the one on hit that Skyline because they're taking it to GTR Fest here next
sure.
week. Um, and so he was saying, because that car is like a 90, oh, I'm gonna butcher it. I think it's a 93. He's like, you really need to get your shop up, and he's like, I'll bring the GTR down, and you paint the GTR, and while you do that, he's like, I'll put a Haltech on the V12 and get it all
Mhm.
tuned out.
Dude,
Yeah, that
dude,
sounds
that'd be
good.
cool to have like a tiny little Toyota, like a fucking Celica or some shit, and wedge one of those things in there. For real, that'd be cool.
It'd be a sweet drift car.
Hell yeah, dude.
Wah, wah.
That'd be so cool. It can't be that like overly heavy either. I mean, 5 liter, it can't be like way
Aluminum
crazy
block,
heavy, right? Yeah.
aluminum
Fuck.
heads.
Hmm.
So the weight shouldn't actually change on my truck much because I have an iron block aluminum head quad cam. So I mean that's pretty um, heavy. So obviously the other one I think it's about 5 inches longer than my V8, but the weight should be similar. And obviously there's more pistons and rods and crankshaft.
Be fucking changing springs again.
Yeah, whatever. Um, and then I think I would just
You'll
do
have it all by then.
radiator in the back if I did that just for engine bay clearance. So like my truck right now is phase one, and I would call it where I finally got it kind of mild
Sure.
pre-runner. And then I was gonna have to get more travel out of my front suspension. I would have to build like an engine cage, get rid of the inner fenders and stuff, so I can get the coilovers more inboard and kind of a little bit higher mounting. But I'm thinking instead of ticking away at all those things, drive around with phase one for a while, save for parts because the engine management system is not going to be cheap.
No, not at all.
I'm thinking with all the discounts I can get, it'll still probably be $4,000 in engine management.
So yeah, I think.
Um, I think save, get everything, enjoy the truck as is, just work on
Oh, yeah.
fabricating on my kid's truck while I collect parts, and then just go hard phase two. Phase two will be like roll cage, V12, engine cage, radiator in the back, probably a stupid roof scoop just to feed the radiator in the back, just because why not? It's a freaking supercar at that point.
Stage two is no longer a truck.
And then if all things work correctly, then it also
Oh,
wants to
that's
get
good
a
stuff.
four link in the back then. So
I think you're going all out. Big cantilever, 4 link in the back.
yep. And then next thing you know, I'll be in the pit jumping trucks at some car shows.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
I feel like a V12 Tundra pre-runner, all set up. If I can get everything to perform well, I'm pretty sure I could just like get anybody to let me into their shows and stuff like that or events.
You have to make sure that, to me, I think you'd have to at least spend a bit of time making sure the intake and everything looks sweet.
Yes.
Making sure that V12 looks cool and V12y, and not just like a big weird plenum on top.
Yeah. So my plan would be get the motor, and then I would build a set of probably equal length stainless headers, tune them, make them as rotary fire for each bank as I can. Because I don't know how much you've looked into header tuning and stuff like that, but ideally,
Oh, fuck, it's crazy.
ideally the volume of each primary. So you know, from where it leaves the head to the,
Wow.
you want the volume of that equal to the volume of air in the cylinder. So each pulse at 100% clears out.
Yeah, sure.
And then when they go into the collector, you want them rotary fire. So you want, each one clockwise or, counterclockwise or clockwise to be firing next to the one that just fired. So that way it pulls the exhaust out of the previous cylinder. And then when you're doing all that, that equalizes pulses. And then you cross them over from one bank to the other as soon as possible. And then, you know, you do a series of J pipes, or they make these weird chambers that off to the side of the exhaust that um, it's kind of like a musical instrument tuning. Like the horns and stuff like that. They all make a certain amount of bends. They've got a certain diameter, and all
Right.
that changes the pitch. Certain thickness of material. So
It's nuts.
yeah,
This Mustang was just a get it to point A to point B situation.
that's pretty common. And if you want a rumbly, lopey sounding engine, it's a great way to go.
I mean, it's gonna sound like what it sounds like. The exhaust is only like 5 feet long on each side, anyway. So, I mean, loud is loud.
Um, oh, what was I gonna say? So have you ever seen or heard like a Subaru's got the Subaru Boxer engine, so it's like whoop, 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 whoop,
Hmm.
whoop.
Yeah, they sound like poop.
Have you ever heard them with an equal length header?
No.
They sound
Oh,
like
I
a
mean,
Civic.
maybe.
They sound like a Civic.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Huh.
they intentionally engineer their exhaust to give it that sound by making it unequal length.
Stupid. Stupid.
Oh,
It sounds terrible.
it's a signature sound.
Yeah, its signature sounds like shit.
uh,
Don't get me wrong. I really like Subarus. They're a great car. They have a good resale value. The WRXs were always cool as a kid growing up, but that when you hear them go down the road, you're always like, something's off, dude. Like, just
yeah.
make it sound better.
Well, now you know if you ever want one, you just get equal length header and it'll sound like a 4 or 6 cylinder.
No, no.
Wow. Yeah, it's almost weird when you hear them with the equal length because you're looking at the car and you're like, oh. So, the hatchback weird years, like I don't know, 2010 or something. Subaru, the WRX and the STI were like a hatchback.
Hmm.
Somebody put one of these Toyota V12s in one of those and twin turboed it.
Well, that's pretty cool.
It's one of the only things on YouTube that
Was it uh,
it's great.
that wasn't the Golf? Oh no, there was a Golf GTI. Was it a Golf with a Audi V10 in the back? That was on like Top Gear or something like that. That thing
Yeah,
was fucking crazy.
they made a GTR Golf. They made an R32 Golf. I
This
can't
was like a
remember.
one-off thing.
Oh, okay. And then they made it. Volkswagen made the W12 Golf, I think, too. Very, very short
Maybe that's
version.
what it was. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know.
Yeah, they
I
had
don't
the.
know. It was a big motor in the back of a Golf. That's all I know.
I think that's the W12 one. Super
Did I
weird.
ever tell you about the Metro that we did in high school? I think I
No, but
did,
I can't
maybe.
wait.
Oh my god. So we had a shop class, which was actually really, really cool. They let us pretty much do. There was one class, like your senior class, senior shop class. You could do. You basically everybody voted, and you got to do a project, and you built whatever the shop or the class came up with. So the class before us did. It was a Bronco 2, and they made all-wheel drive or all-wheel steer. So they put a front axle in the back, and they made everything function. And it wasn't like a take it down the road situation, but it was a, you can cut up a car and you can change it and make it work and function and stuff like that. So our idea was to take a Metro and put a 3.8 GM front wheel drive V6 automatic setup and put it in the back of a Metro. And we did it. It was badass when it ran. like for the electronics, we just we had this metal box that we made, and we just like put it all in there and ran out the wires we needed. We're pretty sure shit was arcing out inside of it. It wasn't ever like this is the way it's going to go down a road, because we didn't even have. I don't think we actually had struts in the back. I think we just like bolted in some like beam steel or some shit like that. You know, it wasn't take it down the road, but it would do a hell of a burnout.
That always interests me because like you can build you can build something fast. That's like how I look at a lot of the YouTube build stuff. Like you can slap an engine front the engine from the front of a Civic and just put the whole subframe in the back of the Civic in, you know, a couple days if you're just willing to take a grinder and whatever. So you can do like
Mm-hmm.
extreme stuff fast, but like you said, maybe it shouldn't be on the road.
I mean, we learned a lot in that class as far as like we made flares around the back wheels because you know the wheels stuck out in the back. So we kind of essentially wide bodied a Geo Metro in the back. So we did, you know, we body worked it all in. You know, we made I made some sheet metal that would cover the flares and or that would cover the wheel openings that basically essentially made flares on the back of this Metro and body worked them all in. So it was all part of the class. Is like so you're learning a lot of different aspects. There's people welding, there's people doing body work, there's people priming and painting. So that's pretty cool.
Is that part of when you're selling customers on your sheet metal work? You're like, this all started with Geo Metro.
No, it was definitely not. I mean, the gang we kind of hang or the crew we were hanging around with, everybody was into cars. I mean, we were doing demo derbies, stuff pretty young too, or not necessarily demo derbies. Like a couple guys were, but with like the Eva Destruction,
Yep.
you know, stuff like that. So I mean, we are not a stranger to it. It was just that was the us being able to cut a car apart that far. You know, we'd never really done that. You know, you're smashing them up and changing some stuff, but we weren't like engine swapping stuff in high school or anything until then.
Yeah. I think I had the engine out of my Camaro and rebuilt before I even had my driver's license.
Oh yeah, no way. Yeah, not me.
I had very open parents, I guess, to let me just take the whole garage up at
Yeah,
15.
I almost bought a Project S10. I wish I would have bought it. My parents kind of talked me out of it because it was a project and it wasn't exactly done. But it was it had to be like a 90, like the 90 body style, like the for that Gen S10. It was regular cab, short bed, but it was on air ride. It was traditionally, I guess you call it channeled, body dropped, whatever. Um, but man, it had suicide doors. It was the guy wanted 3 grand. Like it was fucking awesome for 3 grand. So that was the truck that kind of went me, or the vehicle that kind of pushed me down the really custom vehicle route as far as like cutting things up and mini trucking, all that kind of junk. Um, so then I ended up buying an S10 and doing it all on a truck anyways, and spending way more money doing it. So I should have just bought that damn truck because it ran and drove. The guy drove it from Appleton to Central Wisconsin to sell it for 3 grand because he needed money. It's like, oh my god,
Yeah,
yeah,
but a $3,000 truck then was different than $3,000 truck now.
true. But I mean, there's that truck is still out there. I mean, I would equate that to like an $8,000 truck now. And there's $8,000 air ride trucks out there all day long. So
Yeah. Huh. My parents,
still
when I
looking at.
wanted to buy this Auto Trader $400 Camaro, they just figured like worst case scenario was $400 to keep me out of trouble and hopefully learn some stuff on, even if it just went right to the junkyard eventually.
Hmm. My parents were like, "So you're gonna buy this project car, and you're gonna be just putting all your money into it. So I don't know if you want to do that." And they even had me talking to other people that had project cars, like make sure you go talk to him about their project car and tell him how much it sucks about putting all your money into the car. And then look what that shit turned into.
Your parents are
Look where
terrible at
we are.
interventions.
The total like the opposite direction of that. I'm gonna base my whole life around this. Thanks a lot, parents.
Yeah, classic rebelling against the parents.
Can't tell me what to do
You showed them.
every day.
uh,
It's good stuff. Hmm.
so, so what's next in the shop for this week?
Oh, get some argon and keep welding some stuff in on the 66. That's my plan. Um, I got that quarter panel that I want to finish up, and I just want to keep working around the backside. Get there's another hole, a small hole I have to weld up on the rear valance, and get the rear valance after I get the quarter panels welded and get the rear valance fit a little better. But everything's shaping up pretty decent. And just trying to get everything that I fabricated a long time ago welded in. So some of it's getting the vision down, a complete vision down all the way around the car, making sure things are the same side, same size, side to side, and then actually installing it is a whole nother thing. So, 'cause it's not just the quarter bottoms, it's the drop off in the quarter. You got to drop down too, so the quarter panel seals off. So it's, I mean, some of it's easier just to cut the panel and make a new flat panel that goes in its place. You know, easy as that, but it's still time.
Easy as that.
Easy as that. It's all just metal, right?
The first
Big
side's
deal.
always fun. The second side's not as fun.
I think to me, the first side, I have a lot more anxiety going through it because you're trying to figure it out a little more. The second side, seemingly, it either goes two ways. It goes really, really smooth and a lot faster, or it just kicks your ass completely a lot more, and then you get to learn a lot more about yourself. So I'm hoping I don't have to learn a lot more about myself on this other scoop on the driver on the passenger side. But it's getting that torch in that scoop inside because it's the inside edge that I had to weld together. So it was pretty challenging. And it was the first time I ever actually successfully TIG welded with my left hand and my torch in my left hand. So that was interesting.
Yeah,
First time ever.
I got a lot of reps in, but I'm pretty ambidextrous with it. Are you welding on the pedal or you use a button?
I'm just touching the metal, man.
Oh, you got it's like a strike to arc setup.
I mean, I want to buy that wireless pedal, but when I was learning TIG welding, I seen a couple metal shapers kind of they weren't necessarily trashing on people using a pedal, but they're like, do you really need it in every instance? And I was like, when I was learning it, I didn't want to. Yeah, I know. Believe me, I took everything with a grain of salt. But when I was learning how, I didn't really have anybody sitting alongside of me telling me like, do this and do that and do that. Well, being a MIG welder forever, I'm just like one hand point shoot. TIG welding, I'm using two hands and my thought process on trying to involve a pedal as well was like, I'm not really like I can't drum. Like I can play drums a little bit, but not like really well. And this is like, that's too much for me. I think I could do it now, but I'm so used to not having a pedal. I don't think introducing it would make things easier for me.
All right. So yours is just you set the amperage and you strike the arc.
Hit it, man.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm just pulling distance for heat so I can pull away, stab some filler in there, and keep going, man.
Hmm. I'm at my work. We've got a guy that's leaving. He's worked there for a while, but he's wanting to move out of state, and he's leaving. He got a welding apprenticeship at some like for like a union or something, and he's never
Sure.
welded in his life. But he's like, I want to be a
That's
welder.
how they want 'em.
Yeah.
That's how they want them, though, usually.
But he asked the boss if he could get a little bit of lessons from me. He works in fiberglass, but he came over into the shop and I had him MIG weld a little bit because he's never welded anything. So I had him MIG welding some garbage, and then that went okay. And then I was like, "Do you want to try TIG welding some aluminum?" So I just got a bunch of scraps, like our little drops from the ends of things, and had him doing it. And he the first day he was over there was like 2 hours, and by the end of it, on flat stock aluminum quarter inch, he was laying nice welds, and the boss is like, "Hey, he's doing really good. His welds look better than a lot of the
Right.
welding tests we've had." And I said, "Yeah, the difference is when he's welding, I'm I'm literally over his shoulder going, slower, don't move. Okay, move
Yeah, right,
now,
exactly.
dip now, dip more in there, closer with with the tip. Okay,
Right.
you got too much angle on it. Like I said, I'm literally coaching him through it. So like,
Mhm.
yes, he absolutely laid a nice bead, and we've got him able to do it on his own without being coached now. But he's gonna, you know what I mean? Everything takes reps to be.
The learning process, it gets a lot faster when you have somebody like you, like literally like distance, speed, getting all that stuff down. That was super hard for me because it would be so frustrating. I couldn't get anything figured out, and I'd just step away from it for a couple days, pick it up again, and things. It's almost to me, it was like I equated it to like playing guitar and learning songs on guitar. Is get frustrated with it, set it down, pick it back up, learn some. It's almost like some of it retained, and you don't even realize it.
Yeah, a lot of times when I play guitar, my fingers remember more than my head does.
Yeah. Really, yeah. Or you fuck it up because you like think you put a couple songs together and your fingers are thinking one thing and your brain's thinking another, yeah, or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
happens to me all the time, mixing songs up. That's been a while though. I haven't played guitar in a while. I should need to. I used to like have a break time up there and jam out and stuff, and now I just want to sit and like silence for a little while.
Yeah, it is I kind of let the guy on his own now with the welds. Like he'll come over
Sure.
for a half an hour here and there and just grab a bunch of scraps and stick them together. He's got like a huge contraption putting it together. He just keeps adding more scraps onto the same piece. But it's nice
That's fun.
because since I have a couple thousand hours of welding in the last year, I can just look at a bead and be like, okay, here you were too close, here you were too far, here you didn't move fast enough, here you weren't dipping enough, the metal got too hot here, you needed to let it stop, you needed to stop and let it cool down. Like, okay, you need to put more heat on this piece versus that piece. So most of the time, like if a friend's welding on something, he can send me a picture of it now, and I can be like, "Oh, okay, this is what you're doing wrong. Like you have too much angle on the torch. Your filler rod's melting before it even gets to the puddle. You know,
Oh yeah, sure.
super common. I did it a
Yeah,
bunch.
I'm definitely not dialed in that far, that's for sure. I can get sheet metal to stick to one another and have good penetration and be able to hammer it out. And that's kind of what it's all about here. But efficiency being able to not have throw a bunch of filler rod in it and then grinding it all back out. That's just being efficient that way, getting better at that. But you still need some filler rod to be able to get that. You got- You're not you're never going to fuse the two panels together and there not be a void to some extent.
Yeah, because you got to think if there's any gap or any space, you're losing the thickness of your material by not having some filler.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't get the added blessing of I can grind it and stuff after because being that I'm welding for the marine industry, everything is an exposed weld in aluminum and it stays. There's no paint. There's no. I mean, we have some powder coated products, but we still don't grind our welds. Like everything's got to be
Right.
step
Hmm.
times.
Yeah. Yeah. That's completely different. I mean, I try and do as minimal start and stops as I can, just for shrinking reasons, just to keep the shrink as even as possible. But yeah, definitely different angles of this of TIG welding for sure.
Yeah, it's okay. It kind of just forced me into having to be a better welder.
I mean, every time I pick it up, it's seeming I can actually pick it up and I'm not all tense, so I can actually like I feel like I'm better at it now because I'm not like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty brainless after a while.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Sometimes it's hard to for me because everything is so really small and tiny that the welds are pretty small when you're just but welding sheet metal. Sometimes it's seeing the line of because if your panels are like tacked together and really really tight, and all you see is this really really tiny line that you're supposed to weld up, it's hard to see sometimes.
Just walk the bead
So
right up
just
the side of the metal.
I mean, sometimes it's like accidentally walk off a little bit because you're like, oh man, like there was just like something in the metal that you saw and it just like caught your eye and you went that way and like, damn it. But yeah, it happens. I
Yeah,
mean, so sometimes I try not to clean the metal up too much so I can tell the difference between, it's flat, but it's not like clean enough to weld, but not like a sanded finish all the way across. So your eye loses it. But that's just a struggle for me.
It seems
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
at least in this area, I keep hearing about more and more people. I want to be a welder. I want to be a welder. It's I don't know if like I never had that where I wanted to be a welder, so I'm just like, is this like a new appeal that people want to be a welder? Is there like something luring about it? Like,
I think there's a lot of probably younger generation that wants to do something and not be somebody at Target. I don't know.
I would say it's
I think
better.
there's people that want to work with their hands because if there's a generation of people that if they don't start working with their hands, they're not going to be like, I mean, to a certain extent, robots are going to take over jobs. I don't care what people think. It's just going to happen.
Yeah, I
It's
think it's going to
happening.
be a while before they take our jobs.
Oh, for sure. I mean, yeah, I understand that for sure. But to a certain extent, if somebody could invest, let's say even $500,000 into a robot that can weld, do your job, it'll pay off.
Yeah.
Even if it's very specific welding. I've seen a robot. It was in China, but there's a robot that painted the side of a car. I think we talked about that once. But it was, I mean, it's not totally out of the realm. Robots paint the cars right off the bat to begin with. So why can't it refinish one? It can. It's just going to be very difficult. Yeah, I think I can see a world where robots are going to be doing a lot of crazy shit.
Oh yeah,
A lot of crazy. They're
robots.
already out there. People already have them in their homes. I think there's guys on YouTube that have fucking robots in their homes trying to cook eggs and shit.
Yeah, I just saw there was a home robot. You could put your pre-order in right now. It's $20,000 or $499 a month. So it's like for the price of a Kia, you can have a robot in
That's
your house.
crazy. Yeah. See, starting already.
I don't know.
Fuckers are going to be changing your oil. They're going to be doing all the stuff. They're going to be mowing your yard. They're already mowing yards and stuff. I seen a video of a guy. It was like somebody in an apartment building, and there's a guy that video down, and there's like 2 yards in a road across. There's one guy standing on his stand up lawnmower, and across the road there's a robot one, and he's just like, "Fuck." Like, yeah, a robot's going to take everybody's fucking job to a certain extent. Not everybody's, I guess. Like I said, it's gonna be a while for a lot of these industries. Even my landlord he's a contractor, and he's like, I don't really see anything taking over my job. I gotta fix old houses. I'm like, well, you're not wrong, but this robot shit's fucking crazy, man. I'm not like a whole like I think it's gonna be awesome. It's pretty nuts.
They're just going to be 3D printing houses anyways.
Yep. He already kind of admitted to that. I mean, I think a shipping container house would be pretty rad. What do you think? Probably not, huh?
Um, yeah, I think they can be cool. I think I don't know that I'd want to do my full-time house, but like a cabin or something, like at a
What
destination.
if I think if you did like two on the bottom and then had one like crossways on top, so you had like a deck and then like one it'd be like cantilevered over, that'd be kind of rad.
I think it would be cool for a weekend house. I just can't picture stuffing your wife in a shipping container house.
Shipping out my dreams.
Everybody's got shipping containers down here. My buddy's got two of them in his yard right now.
Yeah, but I mean actually make it look cool though, and not make it look like a shipping container.
Yeah,
I just
I don't
think
know.
the idea of building it out of steel, like houses are just built like shit. They are. Like if you have an old house, it's probably junk underneath everything, and it's just you know, boogered together with stuff from Menards.
Boogered. I have the luxury of my house is concrete block, so
It's pretty good. That's the old, yeah. That's pretty rad. Well, you're good for a hurricane, right? You already went through a hurricane there, right?
yeah, we've had a few. Not that the house is impenetrable to damage, but the concrete helps a lot. Plus,
Oh yeah.
good insulator and whatever. It's a different process than living in other places.
So you said your town isn't very large. What's the closest biggest town to you?
So I was gonna tell you this when we were talking yesterday, but I was trying to give you a break.
Oh,
uh,
that's all good.
so the closest town to me is Sebring, and that's the
For
Sebring. That's the 12 hours of Sebring, like Le Mans type
sure.
race. So, um, yeah, the racetrack's like half an hour from my house.
Oh, cool. That's really cool.
So it's regular if I have to head into Sebring for, some sort of weekend shopping. If we're heading up there on a Saturday morning, you'll see like Porsches everywhere with numbers on them in the
Nice.
windows and stuff because they're just retired
Yeah.
guys going to the track with their little you know track cars and autocross and whatever. So it's pretty cool. They got drift events there, and obviously they got the 20 or the 12 hours of Sebring. But yeah, so that Sebring's a pretty decent sized town. They've got Chipotle. So what else do you need? Chick-fil-A.
There you go. Well, bigger. That's a pretty big sized town, obviously. Then I've never even been there. We're talking about towns, you know. I was gonna get to how like are there like a lot of there must be a lot of car events pretty close to you then.
Sebring does a lot. I think there's a car show almost every weekend here, like at the VFW and stuff, or
Sure.
any of the town, like little town fest things. They always have a car show for all the little towns. And
Sure.
then Sebring, when they have like the 12 hours and such, there's like they call it the circle or whatever, the downtown
Sure.
Sebring. They'll have on the big roundabout, they'll have a bunch of like race cars, like straight up Le Mans cars parked in the middle of
Yeah,
town and do car
it's
shows
cool.
like that. So there's an old
It's
like
probably
stainless 50s diner that's right off the highway that's on the way to the racetrack, and so sometimes there'll be a bunch of old cars or race cars and whatever parked out there. So
sure.
it's definitely I think if a guy wanted to get into an automotive business and you could tap into some of that racetrack stuff right there, that's good. And then
So
obviously,
I think Porsche people could keep a guy busy forever. I think.
yeah, I mean, you just got to be able to deliver the kind of the quality of work necessary.
Well, but being in front of the people that want it, you got to be in front of them to a certain extent.
Right. Yeah, I was telling you, my friend, a lot of the what's the word, the customers he drums up and the work he drums up, he just was started out by taking his Roadrunner out to cars and coffee events, like where all the rich guys do the cars and coffees on the coast. He was saying basically when I want to get going, I got to go to that too. But you just get out there and you just start talking to dudes, and
Yeah,
he's got
rubbing elbows.
I think he's got two or three cars in his shop right now on Roadster Shop chassis. I mean,
Nice.
there's a lot of and that's just on the West Coast. Obviously, there's a whole East Coast. For me, I'm like centrally located, so I figure if I could get some work out there and I could tap into both coasts because I'm an hour and a half from each coast. It's not that far away to have your car worked on. I imagine you work on
No, not at
cars for
all.
people that are at least an hour and a half away.
Oh yeah, almost all of them are at least 45 minutes to an hour and a half away.
And I know that there's obviously a lot of liability when you're working on people's nicer stuff or when you're doing like higher end builds.
Yeah, for sure.
But there may be some allure to having your car getting worked on kind of in a smaller area where there's less crime too, instead of having it sit at a shop in Miami.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think the closer you get to Miami, the more insurance you would be paying. I would suspect. 'Cause things leave from there, don't they?
Yeah. A lot of stuff ends up in containers on ships from Miami.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a guy in Stratford that had a car built in Eau Claire at Muscle Car Restoration. It was like a Charger with a roll cage in it. It was freaking crazy. The guy was in a wheelchair, but they made it for this guy in a wheelchair, and it was fucking nice. I saw it in person, and then I didn't unknowingly knew the guy's dad had a house in Stratford. This is I lived and worked in Eau Claire when I saw the car, and then unknowingly it was in my hometown of Stratford being stored. Somebody stole it out of the guy's garage in Stratford, and nobody ever found that car again. Yeah, it's gone.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
It was just built, so it was definitely somebody watching. I don't know how that stuff works, but yeah, it's pretty crazy. That's what we got, cameras everywhere and shit. I get alerts on my phone when it snows, which it did last night. I get alerts on my phone when it
Gross.
snows now. Cool.
Gross.
Yeah, there's snow still on the ground.
I'm telling you, I will take 3 months of blistering heat over 6+ months of freezing.
You got my brain just cranking yesterday, and I had to stop thinking about it for a while.
When I first moved here, we moved in December, and it was the first week we were here. We're driving down the road, and like a 50s Cadillac passes us, and it's like New Year's. I'm just like, this doesn't make any sense. I'm just,
Regularly, like general, like driving around up here. There's old cars in the summertime. Is it like that all year around there? Then
yes, there is some of
okay,
the when there's the snowbird. There's obviously people that just winter here, and so you have those people coming down, and they'll drive their cars just in the winter. Um, let's say
sure,
half of the population of my town is snowbirds.
sure,
So like they're not there year round, but they kind of fill the winter up and then during the summer, obviously, all the local people that have stuff are driving their stuff around. Most things get built here with air conditioning, whereas that's not as big of a thing up north for project cars. But there's there's definitely cars to be seen all year round here. Just getting to it. Like I see it's got to be a late '40s Packard, early '50s Packard. I see it just driving around the neighborhood anytime. There's a Model A's. We saw a home factory original Model T driving like right past our block a little bit ago. So it's just pretty cool with big spoke
nice.
wheels and
Yeah.
there's definitely more. Yeah, You get used to seeing stuff all year round.
Interesting. I was at when I went down to Virginia Beach briefly a couple summers ago, and we were sitting the first night. We were sitting at a bar, and there's seemingly some people there that they seem to have like a lot of money. And I was like, well, there's got to be some rich guys with some nice cars. And I started bullshitting with some people. Like, are they like car get-togethers or anything? Because it was a weekend. It was in the middle of summer. No, nothing like cars around here. But driving around, I didn't see the whole time I was there. I didn't see one old car the whole time.
It's
It was
crazy.
weird. It's really weird, really weird. But I mean, it is a big military town, so I can see people not having an old car. But man, it was so weird. Like a beach town, and there's not an old car in sight. It's crazy.
Uh, yeah, we see like I'm thinking beach vibes. Like at the farmers market in town, you'll go there, and almost every week there's one of the guys that his wife has a booth. They drive their patina looking VW bus there every week to haul all their farmers market stuff. There's times we're just like running into town in our little town to go get dinner or something. And the one day we were driving into town, and there was like at least a dozen Shelby Cobras just all pulling in a line. Because there's a few,
It's
I don't want to give up too much of where I live, but there's a few cool picturesque places to park. And so people like
sure,
came probably came from Sebring. They drove down to my town just to take pictures. And
sure,
um,
sure.
so yeah, it's pretty cool to just be like driving, and then there goes a dozen Shelby Cobras, big blocks, and
No doubt. Hell yeah. Shit, that doesn't happen around here at all. Usually, when you hear something loud going down the road, it's a big jacked up truck with the dumbest rims and tires you've ever seen in your life.
oh, you got no. I cannot imagine that Marshfield has anything on Florida boys with their trucks.
Yeah. Terrible, dude. Yee. God.
Squatted trucks. What's with that?
No. I mean, I think actually some of these squatted trucks look better than the junk that's driving around in this town. Like some of that stuff down there by you guys actually has a little bit of flavor. The shit around here is just like junk. I mean, some of the trucks are really nice, but they'll put the dumbest rims and tires on. I don't understand it. It's not my flavor.
Uh,
Not my
here,
flavor at all.
here you get the they call them leveling kits. That's how they're lying, but they call them a leveling kit. But they'll lift the front. They'll put a half a lift kit in it. They'll put a
Yeah,
really nice set of wheels on. Low pro tires. Sometimes they do low pro mud tires on like chrome 24s, which I find hilarious.
that's what I don't get. That's what I don't get. I mean, that's not my flavor. I don't understand it because you're never like I get the aesthetic of having a car or a vehicle that you're not essentially going to use it what it's built for, but I mean, I just don't like it.
It's just a
Sue me, man.
I'm showing out and I'm doing what the adults and the authorities think I shouldn't. It's just a rebellion. That's all squatted trucks is. It's a
Yeah.
rebellion. I don't care what anybody says. You're just trying to show out, say I'm the bad boy. I got the nice wheels and I don't give a crap.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Fucking cars.
Why don't you tell everybody where to find you
Make my
online?
brain. You can find me on Instagram. I usually just post the most on there. I do have another video up of the some stuff on the Mustang on YouTube. Another video up there. I have like almost 150 followers now. It's pretty crazy. We're getting nuts. And then I have Facebook too. We're gonna find you, man.
Find me everywhere online: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Just go to YouTube. Um, and then we're gonna start releasing all of our videos for the podcast on YouTube Monday mornings as usual. If you want early access and you want to support the podcast, you can go over to our Patreon. We'll have everything there for you people that want to help us out and don't want to wait till Monday.
Oh yeah.
So until next time,
Adios, amigos.
hasta Winnebago.
Hasta lasagna. Don't get it on ya.